The audio recording posted by TMZ is truly offensive and disturbing. While I understand anger that would be naturally expressed over hearing a tape like this, I also believe that ultimately the players and the rest of the NBA family has confidence that we'll deal with it appropriately.
That is Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, talking, of course, those comments that broke yesterday, said to be by Don Sterling, the owner of the LA Clippers. We're back with our roundtable. Pierre Thomas joins us as well, Pierre. And it was kind of remarkable the way you saw this instant uprising by the players.
Well, it's such a sensitive issue. It's like a negative version of Back to the Future. Look, the country has come so far. I think about my 11-year-old son who looks at people as people. That's all he sees. He doesn't see race. He doesn't see color. But this is a reminder, if these comments are true, that there is still a dark side in some people. And if you look at the comments by the rancher out
Cliven
west,
Bundy. You know, I'm glad you said that because I want to bring that up as well. He's, of course, the rancher Cliven Bundy in Nevada, who had a lot of support for his anti-government stance on federal grazing until he gave this interview that was reported first by the New York Times. Listen to this.
They put the young men in jail because they never learned how to pick cotton. And I've often wondered, are they better off as slaves, picking cotton, having family life and doing things, or are they better off under government subsidy?
You know, you shake your head when you first hear it, Matthew Dowd. So many Republicans immediately who had been rallying in part to Bundy just, refuted him immediately, said we want no part of this, but he does seem to be tapping in, not with the racist comments, but with his overall stance into something going on in the country out there.
Well, first this is when you have a problem when you adopt the man and you don't adopt the message. And I think that when they adopted a man who was the wrong man, obviously, it turns out to be sort of totally way out of the mainstream on this, just like the owner of the LA Clippers, which actually kind of makes me think of Michael Pineda, the guy that had that painted the tar in the baseball and he was big in baseball, is that people will tolerate some things, but when you go so flagrant and stuff like this, the country just doesn't tolerate them. Both of these guys were totally out of the mainstream, way out of this. But it does say something about the country that though we have an African-American president, this stuff still goes on.
Right, and that we understand there's a bright line when it comes to talking about race, and it's wonderful that we're now all on the same page about that, but that we are less comfortable acknowledging race when we talk about structural pieces like affirmative action.
I think the Cliven Bundy thing actually is awful because we should be talking about the message, not the man, which is really a terrible message, which is that you have the right to use other people's property, namely federal grazing land, for free. Freedom is the right to not pay for the damage you do. What's wrong? It's really a horrifying thing that he was ever made a hero even before these comments came out.
I'm horrified to agree with Paul Krugman. The Weekly Standard 10 days ago said to conservatives, don't praise Cliven Bundy. He's breaking the law. He seems to be inciting people even to perhaps use violence against federal law enforcement officials. If you want to change the law, change the law. So, So on that we agree.
There's something in the water here we're agreeing way too much.
No, I know it's bad. It's bad. I'll never hear. Which of us will pay more of a price for this is the question. Probably me. No, the other thing I would say is, but deeds matter more than speeches. I do think look, it's bad. Both these people seem to be bigoted and foolish and all that. I don't think the LA Clippers are a bigoted organization, however. They don't, there's no evidence of that, obviously, if you look at the team.
So what do you do if you're the NFL
So I think in
commissioner?
that case, I'm a little wary to for everyone, and I sort of agree with Alicia on this. I mean, everyone goes hysterical over 2 or 3 sentences, but let's look at the actual deeds of people. If people discriminate, it's against the law, they should be punished.
So then
people
you're
say
saying
stupid things. Private organizations can deal with, private businesses can fire people, I suppose, if they say.
So then what does the NBA
things.
commissioner do? Let's assume for the sake of argument that these comments are right. Does the NBA commissioner and the owners get together and say you can't own our team?
I think the owners need to get together. And if first of all, if these statements that are made are this guy has also a history that we know of, a history of actions that are actually in line with his language. He's done discriminatory practice in real estate. He's done a whole bunch of things.
And he's also getting an award from the NAACP.
The owners have a league. The owners have a league that is 90% African American, and a person that basically now is an owner in the league who basically is in contravention of that. I think the owners have to get rid of this guy as owner if this turns out to be true.
It's got to be a difficult circumstance if you're the players and the coach, who happen to be primarily black people, to think that the boss thinks like this.
The boss thinks like this, but as we just heard earlier, Alicia, they wanted to play and basically show him.
Yes, but apparently they have not if this tape is in fact true. And I think that is sort of the issue, that no matter how much merit you have, no matter how much you bring to the table, that there are still people who feel that you do not belong. And is it scarier for them to be saying it out loud, or is it scarier for them to be saying it behind closed doors?
If true, he needs to go. If true, he needs to go.
Oh, question. That technology, can't we do voice recognition pretty fast? I'm surprised that this hasn't been resolved.
He's promised it's going to come real fast, and we'll find out.